Hello everyone, Samprati Manjunath here. In today's lesson, we'll be learning about decision-making statements. So, decision-making structures require that the programmer specifies one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program, along with a statement of statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. C programming language assumes that any non-zero and non-null values as true, and if it is either 0 or null, then it is assumed as false value. So C programming language provides the 5 types of decision making statements. They are if statement, if else statement, nested if statements, switch statement and nested switch statements. In today's lesson, we will be learning about if else and nested if else. So first we learn about if statement. The if statement evaluates the test expression inside the parenthesis. If the text expression is evaluated to true, that is non-zero, statements inside the body of if, they are executed. But if the test expression is proved to be false, then statements inside the body of if, it is skipped from execution and the statement after the if loop is executed. So this is the flowchart of the if loop. Condition if proved to be true, then the statements are executed, that is the conditional code. But if test expression is proved to be false, the statements following the if loop is executed. So we will see an example program. Here what's happening is we have declared A as 10. So the condition we are checking if A is less than 20. So if A is less than 20, then print that less than 20. Else printf value of A is %d. %d is A. So what's happening here is that we are checking if A is less than 20. If the condition is satisfied to be true, then execute and print this statements. That is, we are printing that it is less than 20. But if this condition is proved to be false, ignore this and just print this statement. Printf value of A is the 10. So, but since this condition is satisfying to be true, we have to come to this step and print this statement. So less than 20 is printed first. Then after the loop is finished, we are coming to the next printf statement. Value of A is %d, means we are pointing it to integer data type, and A is the variable. So A's value is 10. So value of A is 10. So this is the output of the program. So next we'll go to if else statement. So basically what happens in if else is that if the test expression is true, then if statement is executed and codes inside the body of if is executed. But if statement is executed and it proves to be the test expression is false, then the statements inside the else body is executed. So, and codes inside the if statement is skipped. But if test expression is proved to be true, statements inside the else body is skipped. So this is the flowchart of the if else. See, the condition first it is evaluated. If it is proved to be true, we will be executing the if body statements. So if code is executed. But if it is proved to be false, the else part statements and codes will be executed. So else part is executed, and after that these statements after the if else loop will be executed. Normal execution. So see an example. Here what's happening is that, see, we have taken a variable n, enter number. So we are reading from the keyboard. I have given a number 3 for the first example. So 3 is read from the keyboard. So basically we are checking if 3 is an odd number or an even number. So we know the logic that we are doing n mod 2 equals 0. So if the remainder is 1, it is an odd number, else it is an even number. So 3 mod 2 is 1. So the remainder is not 0 and it is an odd number. So see, if n mod 2 equals 0, then it is an even number. But here n mod 2 equals 0, this condition is proved to be false. So we are moving on to the else part and we are printing this. That is 3 is an odd number. And check for the second condition. Enter number I have given as 4 for the second one. Now we'll check if n mod 2 equals 0. 4 mod 2 equals 0. Correct. It satisfies and the condition is true. So we'll be executing this. Printf 4 is an even number is printed. So this is the output for this program. So moving on to nested if else statement. The nested if else statement allows me to check for multiple test expressions and execute different codes for more than 2 conditions. So we use nested if else only when we are checking for more than 2 conditions. So this is the syntax. First we are checking if test expression 1 is true. If it is true, we will be executing this if body part. But if it is not true, we will be moving on to the next else if part. So we are checking if test expression 2 is true. If it is true, we will execute this part. Else we will be moving on to the next else if part. Test expression 3 is true or not. If it is false, move on to the next. So on it continues. At last we will be moving on to the else part. The else part statements are executed when all these text expressions are proved to be false. Only then else part is executed. So this is nested if else statement. So understand it through an example. So see here we are checking for the largest of the 3 numbers in this program. So enter 3 numbers A, B, C. We are reading it from the keyboard. I have entered 30, 90, 50 according to the example. So first we will be checking if A is greater than or equal to B. And in that, if A is greater than or equal to B, if it is true, then check if A is greater than or equal to C. If A is greater than or equal to B, it is the first condition. And inside that we'll be checking if A is greater than or equal to C. So if this condition is satisfying, then print that A is the largest number. That means 30 is the largest number if this condition is satisfied. But if this condition is false, then print that C is the largest number. So this is if A is greater than or equal to B. If this condition is proved to be false, move to the else if part. That is, if B is greater than or equal to C is checked. So if this condition is proved to be true, then print that B is the largest number. So if both these test expressions are proved to be false, that is A is greater than or equal to B and B is greater than or equal to C, then move to the else part. So if this is true, then we'll be printing that A is largest or C is largest. For this B is largest. If nothing is proved true, C is the largest number. So this is the output of the program. See here what is happening is that A is 30, B is 90, C is 50. So we are checking if A is greater than or equal to B. 30 is greater than or equal to 90. This is false. So move to the else if part. Check if B is greater than or equal to C. 90 is greater than 50. Correct. So B is the largest. 90 is the largest element. Thank you everyone.